I have some updates for you. Like, it's literally, look at how big it is. And light number 1 and 2 on. I love it. Let's get these plants ready for 1 week without me. Today's video is all about some plant chores. I wanted to do some more repotting, but there was a mess up with my Amazon delivery, so the pots that I was expecting aren't here. We'll see how much I can get done in this video. And also I plan on moving some of my plants to an area with a little bit more light. Right here I have a big south facing window, so I'm going to move some of my plants a bit closer because these lovely budget lights are not self-timed. They're not on self-timers or on pretty little apps. I'm not there yet. They have to be manually turned on and off, and I like to do it myself. So they're going to be off. So I have the plants that need some little extra light, like this variegated alocasia. I'm going to have to just bump it a little bit closer to the window. If you're new, I'm Stephanie and I love talking about my houseplants, and today I need to get a lot done. So let's just dive right in. So to get the most out of my camera time, I'm not wearing a mic today, and hopefully this camera will last a long time without overheating. But okay, so let's start with the top row. The top row is mostly cared for. I've got my POTHOS, and what's nice is you're gonna get also a little bit of a walkthrough with my plants as well. Like, not a full tour, but you get sort of a little update, a little walkthrough on how they've been doing. So that'll be nice. Anyway, so let's start with the POTHOS. It desperately needs some water. We'll start with that and we'll move our way down. And I left this for like the very last minute because I want my plant to be watered as close to my departure as possible. That way they have a nice fresh round of water, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense? In here I have just regular water that's been sitting out for a few days. I don't deliberately do this. I guess some people say it's ideal because all the additives, I don't know, the chlorine or whatever settles in on the bottom and it's better for your plants. I'm not sure about that, but because I just fill it up and use it whenever I need to, but just saying this has been out for a few days. Not sure why I'm saying that. It doesn't have fertilizer in it as yet. So recently I've been using 2 types of fertilizer, 2 different ones, and I'll talk and work at the same time. So this is my water. This is my fertilizer of choice for my regular plants, everything other than Hoya. So it's just the Miracle Grow plant food. I have links to it down below in my description box, and I use it as directed. Well, I don't even remember what that is anymore, but it comes with a little scoop with 2 sides, a big side and a small side. This bottle is 4 liters. I use the small side and just put 1 scoop of it into the small side. Yeah, that's what I do. This is quite a thirsty plant. I've chopped it back a lot because it was touching the floor, but I've chopped it back because the longer it is, the thirstier it is, and the more frequently I have to repot it. I try to put in water until I can feel water coming out at the bottom, and with this plant it's so established, and I want to say root bound, but it's so, let's say established, because I don't know for sure if it's root bound, but it's so established in here that if I actually want it to sit in water, because then it will reduce how often I need to water it. So poured all of that in. There we go. Now I can feel some water coming out of the reservoir. I've got my little alocasia black velvet in here. It's up to here, but I think I'm just going to add a tad, just a tiny bit more. There we go. Just a tiny bit more, just to make it a little higher, just in case. Last night I took a look at this one. This Rephotophora is fine. This guy here, I've got some propagations of my tricolor, my Syngonium tricolor. I'm just going to refresh this water because I haven't done that in a while. Poured out the old water and I've put in some fresh fertilized water. So put that back here because the mother plant that has been doing so well, vining up nicely. Let's see, yeah, water is at the bottom. This needs a refill. Can I do it in camera? If you've been watching my videos for a little while, you already know how clumsy I am. So this is me being very ambitious, trying to do it like this. I'm gonna pop this up here. I'm worried about this plant because it's such a sensitive plant. If I try to move this from here, this is a Monstera Adansonia. If I try to move it, whenever I move my Adansonia, it loses leaves. It's very dramatic. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I would rather leave it here and try to leave these curtains a little bit drawn with this light off than move it completely to a different location. Once it senses that shift, it's dramatic. It's quite dramatic. Anyways, I need to refill it. I need to find my other watering can. This has my Hoya fertilizer in it. I will just water one of my other Hoya in the meantime. This little guy, this is a cutting given to me by a friend, and I'm so excited. It's finally giving some new growth. It's a reverted latifolia snow queen, and it's doing well. These 3 new leaves, 1, 3 new leaves, 1, 2, 3 in my care. I'm hoping that it gives me the variegation sort of comes back. That would be nice. Anyways, it's sitting in this little cup down here, beautifully rooted. It has a little root coming out at the bottom, and I've learned my lesson really well with Hoya. Leave it in here. Doesn't matter, just leave it in here. See, this is my, you've seen this recently, Globulosa Cow Bang. I'm just going to put a little bit of water in its, at the top, and I just let the bottom of it ever so sit in just a little tiny bit of water. Just a tiny bit of water at the bottom. Just look at that glossy leaf. So glossy. And it has another leaf that is just taking its time to push out. Wish it would do a little bit more with that, but it's definitely a slow growing Hoya, but doesn't want a lot of highlight. I'm skipping. I can never just follow my rules. I make my own rules and I break my own rules. Not even a rule, but my own agenda. But this is my freckles splash. Check out these new, what happened here, buddy? Oh, that's probably just a little bit of sun stressing, but that's adorable. These 2 new leaves here as well, working on its vine. 2 new leaves over here, stunning, working on its vine. I probably could clip this, you know, just to help it stay there. There we go. And then 2 new leaves in here. Can I show you? I always make a mess, but this one has so much splashing, so many freckles. It's so freckly, so many freckles. It's looking good. So the water reservoir is down here, but I'm going to make it a little bit higher. Yeah, put it here. So I'm gonna now add my regular fertilizer, the water that you just saw. I always make a mess with this. I'm very good at making messes. Speaking of finicky, another one of my finicky plants. It was in my recent regrets video. I was like really tempted to put the Adansonia in that video. I think I actually recorded it, but it didn't make it in the final cut. But Adansonia is a plant I wouldn't repurchase, but this one is the Raphidophora tetrasperma. This one was in that video. A viewer suggested, like agreed with what I said, in that it could be like not getting enough light here, even if this is south facing. And then maybe I should move it to another location. I've thought about it, and I think I might do it when I come back. It's starting to actually push out a lot of some new growth that wasn't there a few weeks ago actually. So I am happy about that. So some new growth here in the corner and some new growth up here. So just a little bit, nothing to get extremely excited about. My propagations, I don't even know if I should still call it propagations, but neon pothos growing in water. Just topping that off. My Buono. Here's a plant that I actually really wanted to repot today, but again, my delivery got messed up. It's my El Choco Red, my philodendron El Choco Red. Just adding a little bit in here. It's growing well, it's growing nicely, it's pushing out, whoopsie, it's a little too rough. It's pushing out some new growth here. Nice big new leaf coming out here. Not bad. It has focused a lot on rooting because it's pushing out some roots down at the bottom here. So I was thinking of putting it in a self-watering pot. I'm in two minds because, you know, philodendron, they grow so quickly and, you know, they quickly outgrow their pots. It's doing well. I just put a little bit of water just to touch the bottom of all of this. And over here, I've got this guy. Let's see. Look at this. It's looking good. There's a little bit of water in the reservoir. I don't think I need to add much. I'm just gonna add a little bit, and I like to add it from the top. That way the roots get a little bit of a drink as the water makes its way down. Beautiful leaf, beautiful. He needs to get his feet washed. This is a mess. So I'm just gonna make the most right now and just clean out this reservoir. It's not too bad, but I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. It's working on a new leaf, and just give it a little bit of spritz. Just spritz it up a little bit to help this to get out with as little damage as possible. Not perfect, but definitely better. Wow, this thing runs out of water so quickly. Not fertilized, but it'll be okay. I usually water my plants with every I usually fertilize, not water. Well, I do usually water my plants, but the point I'm trying to make is I do fertilize with every single watering when it's convenient. Silver dragon. This feels a little bit light. Just gonna fill it up over here. I think you can see me. And we've got some new growth coming out. Don't know what it's gonna do with this corm right here, but it's pushing out another one here and some new growth. It was up above at the top shelf, but I think it wasn't getting enough light, but because it sort of slowed down. But since I put it on this shelf next to this grow light, it's doing a lot better. This is Xanthosoma. I think we're good with the amount of water that's in here. And let's take a look in the back. We've got my philodendron vericosum here. I think it has enough water. This is a thirstier plant. Well, thirsty is a strong word for it, but it definitely drinks more water than I thought it would. I think this has enough water. I think I will leave it here. We'll see what happens. This guy, I think, yeah, it does need to be topped up. And this I would love to gift to someone because it needs a home. Propagation from when I thought that I would lose the mother plant. This is a MONSTERA adansonii. Beautiful. It's growing well. It's always when you neglect it. The MONSTERA adansonii is definitely one of those plants that they thrive on neglect. This is my MONSTERA stanleyana albo. I'm just going to refresh the water because I think halfway through it will need to be refreshed. So I'm gonna refresh it now. So like I was saying, this bottom shelf is my messiest shelf. And it's probably a really bad time to go about cleaning it up and tidying it up, but I might as well. Wouldn't I feel really nice to come home to like a nice, fresh, clean plant shelf? I mean, I know I didn't do all of them, but this one's the worst. This one is the eyesore that bothers me the most. My husband came in and was like, why don't you just put it on a smart timer? And then apparently these smart timer thingies, you can get them for like super cheap on Amazon. He went on Amazon and looked for a couple for me, and he found me a decent one. I will link it down below. That's the one I got, but know that I cannot vouch for it because I've never used it. So I wouldn't know how good it works. But if you're for those who might be curious to know what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. This is just disinfectant. I'm gonna spray it. These shelves were actually already here when we moved into this home, and they were actually painted black, and I felt like they were just so dark. They absorbed a lot of light, a little depressing, but black was great for hiding this. Anyways, I took them down and I painted them white, and I loved them, and I vowed to put what I have up here, which is sort of that, I think it's vinyl or plastic that sort of protects surfaces, and I ran out of it. I believe I put it on the middle one and maybe the top one, and I have never repurchased it. I have yet to repurchase it to do this bottom shelf, which I'm very much so regretting, because at this rate I will end up having to repaint it before I even, you know, get to put that protector down. But at least I used glossy paint. I think I used high gloss. I think I might have used the glossiest, because it cleans up easily. You're able to wipe stuff off it easily, and that's what's saving me right now. A lot of the scuffs are coming out. A lot of it isn't as well, but yeah. One of the plants I sort of wanted to repot today was this one. So I'm not sure if I'll get to do that, but I would love to. But we'll see. This is my alocasia Friday. I wanted to put it in a self-watering pot, and this stick was to help hold it upright, because alocasia just love to do that. I'm just going to add just the tiniest bit of water to this. I've already gotten it wet. I'm the messiest person. Joy Splash, which I believe is not pushing out any new growth. This was the one I lost 2 leaves on when I repotted it, but I do believe she prefers to feel snug. Well, as like all Hoya do, they like feeling a bit snug, but I think she's gonna wait until she feels her parameters, until she can sort of feel out this cup a little bit. The roots, that is, when they become more established and sort of fill out the cup, I think that's when she's gonna push out new growth. But look at that dark leaf. Ah, I love it. I think I'm going to add more water. So this is my Hoya one. That way the water can touch the bottom. I'm just going to fill it up. Okay. Right here is a Rangsan. It's so nice. I watered it yesterday, and it's finally pushing out some new growth. I'm super excited about that. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it's right here, pushing out some new growth on the sides and at the top. It's pretty happy. I'm gonna pop it off on the corner there so it can get some support. I probably should put this Hoya here, because I know he doesn't like a whole lot of light. And this Hoya, I can't remember the name. I'll pop the name on the screen, but this one was a gift, and it behaves. Ah! I knocked off the new growth at the top. Oh, so sad. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It was actually pushing out growth in 3 places. 1, right? 2, and 3 at the top. It's very much so like the Coriaceae silver. Yeah, I'm sorry for these leaves here. I burnt it accidentally. I was trying to take off this leaf. I'm just too ambitious. I'm too ambitious with these plants, and my hands are a bit too rough. But anyways, it'll keep going. But man, my Hoya Cloudy Sky, and my propagations, another cloudy sky. I filled them up recently, so I think this is fine. And anyways, and now back to my Monstera. I am so messy. I am terrible. I've refilled it. You might have remembered this plant when it was in its glory, but it is one of the fussiest plants that I own. And I'm finished. Excellent. Is growing so beautifully. It is determined. This is my single name elbow. It's pushing out so much new growth, and it's dry like a biscuit. Definitely doing much better. Some new growth coming in here. I'm looking for these pure elbow leaves. Not there yet, but she's definitely coming along, pushing some new growth in between here. She's definitely doing much better than she was before. So let's take a peek at my Hoya. Watered my silver dollar recently because I featured it in a recent video, my favorites video. Look at this, so pretty. I wonder if this is a peduncle or new leaves. I don't know, we'll see. This was one of the plants I wanted to repot today, but I didn't get the pots, sadly. Let's see what my plants look like after a little bit over a week. Before we do that, if you like the video, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing. It's free and it helps you to easily find my videos in the future. Welcome to the future. Here are some updates on how my plants are doing. I think maybe 10 days. I didn't intend for it to be 10 days, but it's 10 days into the future. I returned home yesterday and some plants were very thirsty. I had to refill them right away. But everything looked well. I only had very minimal loss. I've only lost a little bit on my Heuschkeliana, some of my propagations because the water level got too low. But apart from that, everything has survived and thrived. I'm excited to share with you the updates. First and foremost, the lights behind me. Usually when I film here, these lights are on. You may have noticed a difference. I have some news for you. So let me show you what I got. And I sort of have a mini review on them because I can tell you something I like and some things I don't like about it. I got the smart plug. So it's a smart plug. It's by the brand called 8 Tree. I will have a link to it down below, a Canadian link. And if I can find an American link, I will put one down below. So you can get, I think you can get a pack of one. I think you could just get one. I got a pack of 2. And my mom got a pack of 4. So mine are already installed. So for some reason, my mom had hers shipped to my house. So it'll be our unboxing. We'll unbox hers. Is that okay? I hope so. I'll just ask for forgiveness if not. But yes, she got a pack of 4. So this is what it looks like. Pretty straightforward. It comes with a little manual here. It's just a little adapter you put into your wall, you plug it in, and you are able to control your lights from your phone. So the app that it uses is called the Smart Life app. Great for me. It was great for me because I already had that app. So I have like a little alarm clock that uses that Smart Life app, and this also uses that app. So I was so happy I didn't have to download a brand new app on my phone. I was able to use an app I already had. And so you're able to control the lights from your phone. So I plugged mine into the outlets and then I plugged the lights into them. And so right now they're off because here's how I had them. So they turned on at, I think 6 a.m. and they turn off. No, is it at 6? I think, I can't remember. I'll show you how it looks. So it's a Smart Life app. And basically, this is my little alarm clock. You can see it at the bottom, but I labeled the lights, light 3, light 1, and light 2. So down here, I have light 3 and light 1 and 2 are up above. So 1, 2, 3. And the way I did it is light 3 turns, if you look down below, you can see it says timer, and I had it set to, that's it, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So they're off right now because it's 3:48, and then they're going to turn on again from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that's what I did for those. So you can actually set those timers the way you want it, AM, PM. You can also set the days of the week that you would like it to do that. Like, that's pretty good. I actually really like that feature as well. And yeah, and what I also like is that you can override it, but still not affect your timer. So even if right now I turned light number 1 and 2 on, it doesn't affect my timer that I have later for them to turn on, I think at 6 p.m., right? So I just love how easy it is to manipulate and turn on and off. So I actually love this. I would recommend it, and I have, obviously. My mom has a bunch right now. The con about it, the one con, and my husband said that this con might have been deliberate, is depending on your outlets. Well, one con is that you have to download an app. If you don't like downloading apps, then you might not like that. I didn't mind it, and I already had that app. It seems to be a popular app, so that worked out well for me. One con, though, that I noticed is that if you need to use 2, so let's say you need to use 2, I'm going to pull 2 out here. You know how most outlets have 2 plugs, 2 ports, one above the other? You're not able to use the same, you're not able to use 2, one above each other. Because this is round, you know how chargers are typically square or rectangular? It makes sense. Now I realize that, because then you're able to fit 2 next to each other. The 2 ports, the two adapters or 2 chargers can go next to each other. But for these, they're both round and they're an awkward size. So you're not able to fit 2. I will give you like an image of what it looks like. I'm not able to put 2 vertically. It could have been done like that on purpose to prevent overburdening or tripping that outlet. I'm not sure if that's exactly why. Maybe I'm not sure if that was their purpose or not. I'm not sure how much power these things are actually using and if it would actually affect an outlet. But anyways, I'm not sure if that is actually a concern or if it's just like, not packaging, but the unit, maybe they could sort of try to reduce the size of the unit or change the shape so that you can fit 2 side by side, but 2 are not able to go. So I had to put 1 in one outlet and 1 in another outlet, somewhere different. That's the only con that I can think of. Apart from that, it works beautifully. It works on time and it really saves me a lot of headache. So let me show you some updates on how some of the plants behind me are doing. So this one's doing really well. Just not every single plant, but the ones that are really doing well. This Xanthosoma is pushing out some new growth. My Frydek is doing really well. I just lost 1 leaf here, which was like a ghost leaf, like all variegated leaf, which eventually will, say bye-bye. I'm trying to pull it off, but it's not ready yet. So, but anyways, it's doing well. I think this is a brand new leaf that it pushed out. Everything else still doing really well. My El Choco Red pushed out a new leaf. doing well. Everything's happy. The plants that really thrived were these. So I just repotted these just before I left, and I was really nervous. These are Hoya, I can't remember the name, but Hoya Bella. I think this is the leader bois, and this is the green, and this is the outer variegated. I reported them just before I left, and I was worried, but I tried not to touch the roots at all, and they are still doing well. They're hanging in there. They didn't lose any leaves. Yes, and then this little guy started pushing out, and the new leaf finally got activated and it started growing. This is my Hoya villosa cow bang. But another one that excited me quite a bit on this shelf is this one. Started pushing out, this Joy Splash started pushing out 2 new leaves. I believe it started pushing out. So I am thrilled about that, and it's doing well. And another thing that shocked me was this guy. And this is, I don't know. Look at this. Look at this. This is my Hoya Freckles Splash. Look at the size of these new leaves. So the light green ones are the newest leaves. Look at how much splashing is on these 2 leaves here. Look at how much splashing is on this leaf here and the one underneath. The newest leaves up here, not as much splashing on this one on the left, but good enough on the one on the right. And I'm so surprised considering the leaves before them didn't have that much splashing. I'm shocked at how big these leaves are. They're huge. They're so much bigger, especially these 2 compared to the 2 before it. I'm thrilled. I gasped when I saw them. These look really good. So everything for the most part, they survived really well. And I think that obviously the grow lights worked the way they should. And it was reported to me that they did turn on and off when they were scheduled to. Everything happened on time. Everything seems to have managed without me touching them every single day. And I always say they probably do so much better without me tampering with them every day. Okay, let's look at a quick update on my shelving system. So some highlights. I'm not going to go through every single plant, but I came back really excited at how my, what's it called? Australis leaf. I'm trying to get it out gently. How beautiful she has become. These new leaves were not there when I left. She was dry when I came back. She was very thirsty. All of my Hoya hair in this west window were quite thirsty, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some yellowing here. Another very thirsty Hoya. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised this leaf is yellowing. I think I'm gonna lose it. But yes, so thirsty. Everything here on this wall was extremely thirsty. But the thing that was the most exciting is look at this guy. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know this because I showed this hair already. But yes, this new leaf was, I can't even remember, like maybe I'll show a clip but earlier in this video, you would have seen this plant. Even in my videos from last week, you would have seen this plant. It was featured, but look at the size of this leaf. Like it's literally, look at how big it is. I literally, when I got here, I literally gasped. I'm like, when I saw it, because wow, it's huge. And just to give you a reference, like this is a previous leaf. This one is the last leaf I had before that one. And now look at this. I am beginning to think it's the orchid spray that some of you suggested to me. I think that's helping because I started the fertilizer a few weeks ago and I got this leaf and nothing had happened. This didn't happen. But like after I sprayed it before I left, so who knows what will happen to this leaf. I'm really excited. So that's a highlight. Another highlight is how much growth is on this one. This Mathilde Splash is giving out so much new growth now. I did spray it down with that fertilizer spray. So I do think it's just, they're all just really happy. But definitely this is a lot more growth than I got in the past week. So in the week before that, I didn't get this much growth. So I think it's fantastic. So much new baby leaves. I really should snip off those green leaves to sort of encourage new, more vibrant leaves, but I don't want to. Like, this is such a thirsty plant. True, it's like a real monstera in that monsteras are thirstier plants. And look at it, it has some yellowing here. So I haven't gotten around to adding fresh water to this yet, but this one was completely dry, or it is completely dry. So I need to refill this, even if I refilled it before I left. The Hoya, the Crimson Queen and Princess are fine. Oh, I've got new growth coming on. Look at this, so exciting. This wasn't here when I left, so I'm pretty excited. Not the fastest growing. This is a Tycon, by the way, Monstera Tycon Constellation, and not the fastest growing, but I don't mind, because we know monsteras can get huge and unruly, and it still has water in the reservoir, so I'm happy about that. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Here are some videos you may enjoy watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. See you next time.